Let's take away the air knife on the die lab first. It already been removed now. Now we are removing the spinneret plate. The screws on both sides of the spinneret must be lightly removed before the spinneret can be removed. The purpose of remove the spinneret is because it is the first time that the machine is turned on. There may have dirt in the machine and will block the hull. So we need to remove the spinneret first, drain the material first, and clean the screw runner and mold by material. Then install the spinneret after the cleaning. The screws on both sides must be removed. The screws are fixed at both ends here, and both ends are lifted by a person. And the two screws in the middle need to be removed finally, so that the two ends are lifted. Once the middle screw is loosened, put it down as a hull. In this process, the spinneret hull must be protected. Don't have any damage. Metal parts must not be touched. Once damaged, the hull is scrapped. Slow down, don't worry. Put the face side up. The spinneret hull should not face downward. The spinneret hull must be upward. Now the extruder is started. Let the raw materials drain oil and debris from the screw and mold first. After cleaning, we start to install the spinneret plate and air knife. Now it is drained. During this period, the air fan can be turned off to prevent this material from being burnt on paper. The red mesh belt of the web forming machine should be blocked with something to prevent the material from floating there and burning the mesh belt. This material is very hot. People must stay away. Check whether there are too many bubbles in the mold. It must be flushed very cleanly. After a while, stop the machine, install the spinneret, adjust the gap of the air knife, and then start the machine. In the process of this material flowing out, we have to see if there are bubbles. If there are bubbles, it means that it still needs extruding. Until there are no bubbles and no black spots, then we can stop the machine. After the spinneret is removed, a filter screen should be placed inside. There are two slivers in it. Take the middle one out. Watch the video. The filter screen should be cut into the same shape as mine, and then placed in the middle. And then put the steering ring on it. Watch the video. When installing the spinneret, the temperature of the mold must be cooled down. Because the spinneret is cold, the mold must be cold. If the mold is hot and the spinneret is cold, there will be a gap after installation. It is the principle of thermal expansion and contraction. So after we there is no material inside, we must turn down the temperature. The temperature should be below 100 degrees, and then we install the Spinneret. That is, the temperature of the mold and the Spinneret are similar. Then it can seal better. The gap will be very small. When the first time install the Spinneret and use the copper filler gauge, the gap should be 800 micron, and both sides should be adjusted to about 800 micron. It must be uniform from one end to the other. If the effect is good, it means that the spinning will be made very vertical. When start the machine, should we discharge the material first or below the air first? We should below the air first, to avoid the material will get into the air knife. First, check the temperature. The barrel temperature and the runner temperature must reach the set temperature. And then the oven temperature of the air must reach the set temperature. Many this table, this shows the air outlet temperature, this shows the internal temperature of the oven. At this time, we make preparations. Be sure to cover this side. There will be flying flowers at that time. Protect the electric wire on the mesh belt and the electric. Otherwise, it will cause the electric wire to block. When the temperature check is normal, we turn on the machine. First, when starting up, collect force. The metering pump starts and stops. When activating, the metering pump is speed up first and then the extruder is speed up. The metering pump is set to 5 revolutions, the extruder is set to 8 revolutions, and the material is being extruded first. When material is out, you can slowly increase the speed of the main engine. At this time, pay attention to the pressure in front of the pump. The closed loop pressure at the startup is normally between 2 MPa and 3 MPa, which can be set to 2 MPa. The deviation between the actual pressure and the set pressure is not very large. It is okay if it is set to 1.9 to 2.1. And then the closed loop is started. At this time, look at the material here. When the material is discharged uniformly, feel the spinning. There is no crystal point and it is soft. The wet forming machine can move forward at this time. At this time, pay attention to the wind speed of the rose blower. If it is too high, it will have flying flowers. When the wet forming machine moves to the front, the position is in the center of the air outlet and then connects the air outlet duct. Pay attention that two people start to roll the cloth here. Be sure to roll it up, if not, it will be twisted on the wet forming machine. Then after the tube is connected, immediately turn on the air blower. The wind can be added to 300, 500, 600, 800, and the rose blower can also add the wind speed. And then when the cloth is very soft, start to pull it backwards. This is a rough idea. How about the spinning now? It has crystal points. It is not so soft now. It's better now. It's easy to have flying flowers when the wind is strong. So the wind don't be so strong at first. Now when the material is spread down, there may be a little material on the edge of the wind gap. You can scrape it off with a copper filler. If it continues to blow out, then blow the wind a little bit. And then try to blow down the material inside of the air knife. In this case, it will not blow on the air knife. Because the material that comes out and the wind from the air knife at the beginning is not in the correct proportion, so we have to watch it. Wait until when the material is blown onto the wind panel and there is no sticking onto the material. It is almost done. Now is how to adjust the cutting knife. The distance from this place to that place is 175 millimeters. This is a fixed knife. Do not swim. This is the stroke of the adjustment knife. First, push it up. Move the knife over. Look at it. And then push it. The knife came over and the knife was rotating, which means the position is okay. If the depth is not enough, push it back. Adjust this. Let the knife go in a little bit and then try again. So that is okay. The knife follows it. Just turn it. If the knife can't rotate with it, adjust this one. Let me try it. Like this one. The knife can't rotate with it. How should I adjust this one? First, retract, then loosen the height, came over a little bit, lock it, and then let it stick to and it can rotate. As for the knife or the rotating cutter, the knife goes in less. Let it back and move it in the opposite direction a bit, and then it can. So the knife is okay now. When the machine is turned on normally, after the cloth comes over, it pushed forward one by one, like this, going and retract the knife and then adjust the knife one by one in the same way. I will try again. The blade returns here, retract here, forward here, and then the knife sticks over. Okay, return, alright. The cloth is ready to be loaded. Now is to reduce the speed of the rolls below. The wind should be small and not too large. And then spray it down slowly. Then drive the web forming machine here. Roll it up by people and roll it up first. When the web forming machine is put over to roll the cloth, the height of the mold and the web forming machine is within 15 to 20 centimeters. Because the height of the web forming machine and the mold depends on the resistance and index of the cloth, so we can adjust it to 15 to 20 centimeters. Now the cloth is already turning. And after we turn the web forming machine forward, the suction tube should be aligned with the hull of the web forming machine. And after putting it on, we will start the suction immediately. Turn it on for 300 revolutions, and then that the cloth will be sucked on the web forming machine, and then it will be turned on for 500 revolutions. Because during the opening process, the speed of the metering pump and the extruder should not be increased for the time being. It is still at that speed. After the web forming machine is fully installed, we turn on the suction to 1000 RPM and then turn on the hot air upwards. That is, after our cloth is out, we will slowly adjust it. Must be careful when pulling the clothes. After the cloth has been winded up, we put the metering pump and the extruder in an automatic closed-loop state, and raise the metering pump to the speed we want. And then the speed of the fan should also to the speed we want, as well as heating temperature. Rose blower is at 1250 RPM. And the suction is around 1350 RPM, which is matched according to the speed you pull. Now we are discharging the material. In the process of discharging, we have to discharge until the spinneret is separated without any material. After half to an hour, we can put hands under the spinneret. If there is no spinning and material on your hands, only in this case can we stop the machine. If we want to turn off the machine, then turn on the closed loop of the metering pump to manual. Slow down the speed of the extruder and watch the pressure. Then slow down the metering pump below down to 500. And then move the wet foaming machine back. The suction pipe needs to be removed. And then the wet foaming machine is slowly moved back. After the wet foaming machine can return, the air blower is directly turned off to 0 position. When turn off the electrode first, then lower the rose blower. It can be reduced to 200 revolutions or 300 revolutions. Prepare to remove the air duct, then turn off the exhaust fan, and the net foaming machine moves back. Turn off the net foaming machine winder and cutter, and then prepare to discharge. Discharge the material in the metering pump. This is a multi-component feeding system. First, press the power supply. After the power is turned on, this page will display the system page. This is a normal page. After entering this page, set the proportion page and open the formula. Now already have 2 formulas. You can change these 2 formulas. This component 1 is electrode and component 2 is raw materials. Now you need to change the electrode to 3% and the raw material to 97%. After making the change, select to use the formula. Now the number 1 is 3% and the number 2 is 97%. Now start the machine. When adjusting the feeding system, we must make sure that all the tubes, including 1, 2, 3, 4 tubes, must be clearly named. Currently, number 1 is for electrode and number 2 is for raw material. All tubes must be matched. Next, let me talk about the operation of the computer screen. First, start this page. This is the operation of the whole system. Next is the first operation and the second operation. This time has been set. This will be automatically protected. Once the time is up, it will automatically run the second time, will fill the material automatically. So you can't interrupt the supply of the material. Stop. Just stop. Alright, this is a monitoring screen. When everything is start up here, it can display which one is running and which one does what action. That's all.